that because they will be starting on the CT side here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a CT-sided map after all, and I'm expecting to see some pretty solid CT tactics from the CPLAY boys. They are fairly comprehensive on CT side, typically a defensive team. We are going to see Muff B and also Berry pushing through short, though, looking for a potential pick, but no one's there for the tease. They're looking their way up into underground instead. Has spotted a player window, but unable to connect the dots just yet.
Spitty gonna open it up. He gets the first kill on the round, takes down Mafeb, and I'll do my best to just, you know, throw these names out on the fly as I read them. Holst here for CPLAY, trying to hold down CT spawn. Still 3 players pushing him right now. He'll get 1 as Sifix will push in through. Terrace now controlling A.
Yep, getting that plant down. I've heard 2 separate names for him, Muff B or Mafeb, so I'm kind of confused as well. Regardless, Zanzi has been dropped, and now it's all on Percy. Last man against 4. Looking at CT spawn, has spotted a player there, but unable to connect the dots, and he goes down 1-0 to Recursive eSports. Nice start for them.
Yeah, that seems to be the pistol round of a lot of T sides. Just put a couple down through that underpass, quickly get up into connector, and have 2 other guys, you know, 1 come out Palace, 1 come out A ramp, and then the other 3 take the underground railroad over to connector, and you just, you know, kind of smash A from 3 sides, and it works out there for Recursive. They'll be buying up, but also CPLAY going to be a bit forceful with this round. Scout armor and 2 P250s in armor.
Yeah, this is starting to see a lot more players becoming, you know, kind of one of the metas on the CT side, that you try and claw your way back into a round where the enemy is going to have the best of weaponry. But that being said, it is the CTs who draw first blood from this round. Ultra gets dropped from the P250 courtesy of Percy, who was just kind of chilling there at the back of B apps. And that already gives the CTs a pretty nice advantage going forward. The T's just all locked down in B app side, most of them on the T side, so they're not going to be looking to pounce for quite a while in this round.
Yeah, the one thing though, he got that kill, but he was not able to get the gun. And I'm trying to actually figure out what it was. Oh, okay, it was a Mac 10 there that Ultra had, as well as a smoke. But he killed him at the end here. We can see, you know, by this couch. So not able to scoop up that gun. So it'll be Zanzier still spotting this with the scout. Actually gets some good damage in. Takes Spitty down to 10 HP. But he is the Lone Ranger here. Actually, Mafeb from the catwalk helping him out. Zanzier will hit 1 scout shot, and Nito is going to get the bomb down just barely in time for the TT peeks the corner, and that'll be Sifix to pick up 2 of them and maybe a 3rd or a 4th here. He's done a lot of damage to both these guys. He'll pull out the sidearm. He takes off the head of Holtz. Long range. Can he get Mafeb? Looks like Mafeb might deliver him the killing blow instead. He does get Nito. And that puts Sifix in. He's going to have to ace here if he wants to do this. He's already killed 4 people, but the 5-7, it's got that wall bang potential, and he'll just pop him right in the head through the bench. Scoop up the AK, which is good, but unfortunately, no time, no kit. He'll have to run away.
Yeah, T's did a really nice job there of locking that site down in the retake, making sure the CDs had to go through as much time as possible to get that final defuse. Didn't quite pay off, but as you said, they do save up the AK-47. That was a forced buy in the previous round. They did commit to that, so that AK-47 could be absolutely huge going forward here for the Danes. I believe it's Danes versus Norwegians. I think Recursive are mainly Norwegian players, so Scandinavian affair here today.
Yeah, I believe that Lions was a Norwegian team, so that makes sense why they would bring in Spitty. They probably know him from the Norwegian scene. As it is a bit of a gamble here with the A stack. 3 players kind of just hiding under porch, using that AK long range to scout out the window, and you've got Percy getting information here with this P2K just pushing through the B hall. So they should be prepared for this, but still, they are underfunded counter-terrorists here.
They certainly are. You'd expect the terrorists to go ahead and just poke themselves in. AK-47 in the hands has gone down, and now it's all on Percy once again in a clutch situation. There's no need for him to save this, just the pistol in his back pocket, so he's going to be going for this one. A minute to play with. The bomb hasn't been planted just yet, but it's about to be. There we go. And now Percy from the Palace. I mean, I don't fancy his chances at Helium. I think he's going to get smashed as soon as he comes around that corner. There's a Tech 9 firing down. Him. Yeah, Ultra's there in shadow as well, and really there's nothing Percy can do. He'll be lucky to get a kill from this position right now.
Yeah, that's the only thing you really probably hope to do anyway, just find 1 kill. And I'm actually surprised Fours here hasn't gone to pick up... I know there's a P90 down in the site. I mean, P90 you can get away with on a rifle round, especially the CTs might not be going into this with, you know, the fullest of buys, just the low 4Ks here for the CTs, so if Fours had just picked up that P90, he wouldn't even have to buy this round. Or maybe, okay, yeah, he will take the AK. I was like, maybe he'll just stay on the Tech 9. After all, the Tech 9 is still pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I think maybe in the back of his mind he's thinking, well, I'd like to get an AK anyway because CPLAY are going to have a full buy, I should say. So they got themselves an AWP on Zanzir, who has no armor, no grenades. That is definitely a glass cannon approach. And we'll have to see if that comes back to haunt him. He's currently pushing all the way up through mid, gets a nice opening pick into the forehead. There's Ziff right back again, though. So already the damage has been done, but the T's are holding in here for this round, this fourth round.
Yeah, that answer back coming from Underpass, and it didn't look as though Zanzir wanted to try to challenge it. So it'll once again be Recursive starting off their round over there in the B halls. Bomb is down, but they're rotating around trying to contain the map. Looks like Spitty and Sifix getting that middle control. Ultra still running a bit of a distraction, and Neto heading over towards a ramp here for Recursive.
Yeah, very split approach from the T's, just trying to get a pick and then go ahead and fully commit to a site. Ultra with that bomb is going to be coming through Underpass, I'm assuming now, to join the rest of his team who are lurking in mid. Neto still in ramp, and with 38 seconds to go, they're going to have to start making a move on. It appears though they probably will try and push through connector towards A, which is right now quite open. Holtz on Shadow, Zanzir back at CT boxes, and that's exactly what's going to happen. 25 seconds at their disposal, and then to start pushing in right here, right now.
This is about as close as you can cut it. I mean, there's always the risk that you can't get into the site. Well, they got 15 seconds now. Now the bomb finally coming over the stairs. Spitty's going to get that opening shot onto Holtz, and that will leave one guy, just Zanzir, smoked off here in CT spawn. Mefeb going to more or less be the first responder. He actually takes down two real quick. Gets Sifix right before he can cross back over to A ramp. So 3-on-2, man advantage here. Now the time, though, ticking against the CTs, but it looks like they'll be all right. Only Neto alive, and he's retreated into A ramp. Can only assume the bomb is planted for him, but it's going to be tough to peek out into two players. And it's hardly planted for him, actually.
That's exactly it. It's round the corner, so that defuse has been held onto, even though Neto gets himself 2 kills. For me, Mefeb was the determining factor there. Helium getting those 2 entry frags back onto the site was absolutely huge for CPLAY and definitely locked themselves down that round. So the forced buy, the full buy, definitely paying out dividends. Now Zanzir is able to add to the AWP with some armor and also a smoke grenade. So nice stuff for the CTs, and that's exactly what they needed. They were 3-0 behind. If they lose that round, it's starting to look a bit scary for them.
Yeah, and Percy with the Mag 7, you can only imagine where he's going to play. Pushed up here, maybe on the end of the apartments here at B. With the heat, this gun looks ridiculous. This Mag 7.
Looks pretty
sharp. Yeah, he'll get close. See if anyone is going to push him, because once again, Recursive are starting off in the B halls, and there might be a point where the CTs start to realize this, and CPLAY can maybe exploit that, take more map control, because only Force is out here at middle. He's the only guy trying to lock it down.
That's it. They have been here pretty much every single round. I mean, fair enough, they've rotated late on into the round through, underpass through connector in that previous one, but they are definitely starting to get a bit predictable here. And you can see from the CT's movement, they're not respecting the potential ramp or palace push. Now Percy is going to give the rest of the information away to his team as he goes down. But there's Mefeb once again locking himself in for a frag. It has been exchanged back from Spiddy. And again, the T's are poised to plant on this site, and they have a player advantage. This should, in theory, be their round. But can the CTs bounce back?
Yeah, their economy not great either. I wouldn't be surprised if CPLAY, even at a 3-on-4, just want to back off and save. And it looks like exactly what they're going to be doing. Zanzir is sitting at the other side of CT spawn, waiting for someone to push out on an exit. Barry there to trade, or maybe even get some more of these frags. He's a bit closer up. And Holst is holding on to the connector. But I'm sure Recursive will just all exit out from whence they came in the B halls, and probably won't see much blood this round. Only 3 casualties.
Yeah, not too many players falling, but the T's doing their job. And as you say, because of the economic downturn that CPLAY find themselves in, they simply can't afford to lose those 3 weapons. It's going to allow them to potentially buy up some pistols and maybe try and make a go at this round. They drop a scout to Percy. What is Mefeb going to go for? 5-7 and also the armor. So that makes a lot of sense. It is, however, Helium, a bit of a terror-bad buy-up, to be fair.
Yeah,
I can't see this paying off for them.
Percy can't be very happy, right? He's had to play B with a Mag 7 kind of in the end of the apartments or a jump spot, and now he's going to be jump scouting it. So he's not at a real gun. But, I mean, that's the one position on Mirage where you can actually still be effective with those the scouts and the Mag 7s. And you'd think it'd be tested because they've been pushing it, but here we now see Recursive are going to mix it up a little bit. Looks like they are going for this A take, similar to the pistol round. Coming out underpass into the connector where Spitty will finally open it up. Zanzer hit that first shot though, and Neto coming out of the palace, and there he goes. He actually finds Pulse trying to throw the pop flash, looks over to Sandwich though, and Lefebvre is there, and he does get one kill and a bit of damage with that 5-7 onto Ultra. But Terrace now claiming A, 3-on-2. Bomb still not planted quite yet though.
Yeah, this is a nice attempt from the CTs with the weaponry. What a shot from Zanzi, who is flashed and through the box onto Spitty. And that gives CPLAY an extra lifeline. That bomb still hasn't been planted, which is a big X in the box for Recursive right now. As Percy gets the tag, not the frag, onto Ultra. He survives on 8 HP, but that's absolutely nothing, especially considering that Percy still has a grenade in his back pocket. Scythe trying to push down, have a quick peek into connector. And all the time here, Helium is ticking against the T's. They've only got about 20 seconds remaining to get that bomb planted.
And it's so hard to plant in the A site. With no one to cover you, they've run out of smokes at this point. The op shot going to come in now. It looks like Sif took a scout shot as well, so he's down to 10 HP in this 1-on-2, 12 seconds remaining. Smoke actually going down for the CTs, and that'll be Zanzer to push through that. And at this point, I think the calls come out. You can see he's just using the P250. He'll push through it, and he finds him with 2 seconds remaining on the clock there. And this always irks me. He didn't know he was there. Just wait one more second and just completely screw over the Terrace economy because he would have got no money.
That's very true. That is very, very true. And speaking of no money, it's important to remember as well, though, that CPLAY were on a hope and a prayer. They had a scout, they had a 5-7, they had a FAMAS and an AWP, pretty much. And they still managed to pick up the round Helium. That was huge from them. That was a big, big round. And that's going to allow them to go ahead and add some assault rifles. And now you can see the force buy is in effect for the Norwegians, who have themselves a P250 and a Tech 9. So maybe the CT is going to be able to get some momentum on the board for themselves.
Yeah, Zanzer getting the opening pick with the op that round, and then the terrorists not really taking connector, trading it effectively, gave the man advantage right away to CPLAY, and Recursive wasted quite a bit of time pushing the round to the last few seconds. But here they storm into B real quick, and Neto, what? Like, I didn't even see that guy.
That reminds me of the clip that you linked me before from Pipe.
Yeah. If anyone visits the subreddit of Global Offensive, that pith clip was a bit ridiculous. Maybe it's just a Euro thing. I don't know.
Hackers. A lot of us. 2 players left, they are going to be saving. It makes sense. It's a very difficult site to retake, especially considering when you've got 4 players against you and only 1 smoke and molly with a couple flashbangs to work with. So they're going to save the AWP and the M4 going forward. Correct decision, but still, the T's with 5 rounds already, just in the 7th. That's pretty big for them. They'll be quite happy with how this starts. They're going to be looking towards 7 or potentially even 8 rounds on this T side, which would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, when I still play Mirage, if I'm on Mirage and I'm playing and I'm always saying, like, hey, this is a 9-6 map, maybe even 10-5 for CTs, like, I'm going to be really upset if I don't get the CT rounds. But the more and more I cover this map, pretty much only can in Europe. It gets rarely ever played in the North American scene. But I've been seeing Terrace get more and more rounds. I've seen 12-3 halves for the Terrace side twice to bring it into OT. So it's not, I don't think, over at all for CPLAY. Maybe they just got that weaker CT side. And as we've seen, their economy has been a bit rough, having all these sort of like half force buys, been saving guns, trying to do what they can, as they now will get mollied out. The A execute coming in for Recursive. And actually under the porch there. Took a while to find him, but he wasn't actually able to do any damage. And that flash coming over doesn't do anything, but Neto's still able to get the shots there onto Mefeb. And here's Zanzer rotating over. Oh, unfortunately misses that one. Pulls out the USP. Quick headshot, though, and now 3-on-2.
Yeah, and he got a beautiful AWP flick shot to start things off onto the T's, but then it's all been one-way traffic for Recursive. He's been flashed, pop flashed, and gets finished off. Very nicely done. He was completely blind there. The reason why this worries me a bit is because whenever I've seen CPLAY playing, typically their CT side is stronger. So this is what's really throwing a spanner in the works for me. And I'm trying to think of a time here, Helium, though, where we've seen CPLAY go for like a full buy of like full M4s with an AWP. They've always seemed to be kind of pitching in with some scrubby weapons here and there, and this round's been no different. They had another scout. I think they had another 5-7 armor. They need to start getting some economy on the board.
I think Percy's only had a M4 like 1 round. Yeah, he's been Scout Mag 7 or 5-7 almost every single time. And yeah, I mean, maybe you can, man the panic stations if CPLAY does generally put up a strong CT side. I was actually looking through some of the HLTV stats, and their most recent Mirage match was actually against Virtus Pro. So obviously a tough match, and they were able to get 10 rounds against VP. So you think against Recursive, they should surely be able to get more than 10.
Exactly. That's kind of where the alarm bells are ringing. But Recursive take nothing away from them. They've been playing really well so far. I feel like the economy has been the worst enemy of CPLAY, and again, they're going to be upgrading a few pistols and do lose the first player in the form of Mafeb. So Recursive are on point here to try and put some more rounds on the board. What I will say is there's been a distinct lack of any kind of play from CPLAY in mid pretty much this entire half.
Yeah.
It's very strange to me. I mean, that could be indicative of the kind of weapons that they've had, Helium, but still, they seem to be giving up mid every single round, and it's just allowing the T's to walk through connector and get these bombs planted.
All I know is that Percy's been going for that cardio. He's just been running to B and constantly jumping up and down. He is ready to go. Increasing his vertical jump. Take his jump scout to the next level. As Zanzer long-range P250 on the unsuspecting Ultra. And actually, they're going for the retake. I mean, Barry touched the bomb right there, but still no hope for CPLAY in round 9.
Yeah, going for the retake up until the point where Zanzer got pretty smashed and has an AK-47. No reason for him to throw this one away. They should have quite a significant amount of economy going forward into this next round, though. So they will be able to buy up. I'm assuming to see an AWP in the mix as well, that Zanzer could potentially drop for one of his teammates. And if they're going to start to claw it back, it has to be right here, right now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Zanzer, he'll drop that AK that he preserved, get the op for himself, of course. So full round right now for CPLAY in round 10, and this is really going to show us what they're made of. The only round they actually saw them, I think they took it pretty definitively, their one round was when Zanzer pushed mid aggressively with his glass cannon op, got the first kill, and they were able to hold on.
Yep. That's exactly it. They caught the T's completely off guard, and they made the most of it. This time around, though, he's not going to be playing that aggressively. They've got 2 players stacked on short, Percy on top of the crate stat, and then they've got the player to his right, Mafeb, who's in ladder room. But so far, the T's haven't shown their hand. They're still playing this one slow. They're back over to the B site again, and Zanzer gets the opening pick and will just cheekily run away, flashes back in again. That's huge for CPLAY. But there could be a retaliation force in here from the T's, knowing potentially just an AWP is there against them. That smoke is going to stop them, and now they just back away towards mid.
Yeah, so 4-on-3 man advantage for them right now as they really look to fight for what I believe would be their second rifle win, the first coming in round 4 with that defuse and that retake. Still, fours and Recursive controlling middle. Just 3 alive though. And it looks like they'll want to try to go up connector, but flashes and molotovs coming in from jungle. Going to delay them up a little bit. And earlier, okay, here's Mafeb. The catwalk player has fallen back. That was Percy. Mafeb with a nice flash, and we'll find one. Gets 2. Now that Molotov dropped, burning away Ultra. Oh, Mafeb gonna run out of the ammunition with the AK. And Ultra actually hitting 2, almost 3 nice op shots. That one was nearly there. And whoa, how convenient. Jungle smoked off for Ultra. So he'll run and will be able to get the bomb down. Got 6 seconds on the clock. You only need 3.5. And he can still maybe make a round of this with a 2-on-1 retake here for CPLAY. Oh my gosh, that was close.
If he lands that shot, there's every chance he can clutch that round, but no scoping is not the easiest of things unless your name happens to be Kenny S. Which we saw yesterday, 3 ridiculous no scopes.
That was pretty nuts. And then actually even yesterday I was casting and Kenny S I was out of it, and he was keeping me in it as much as he possibly could. He had some absolutely nutty rounds yesterday as well.
Exactly it. There's a couple of mistakes though, pretty key mistakes in that last round. From the T's, they actually flashed themselves once before pushing out, and that's when the Fed flashed in and then followed it up. So they were their own worst enemies, and then the CTs kind of let that round slip for a few seconds, allowing that plant to go down, but it rectified those issues. Regardless, first pickup is Neto, downed in the 11th round. This is CPLAY looking to try and bounce back and get the 2 rounds on the board. They have not gone 2 consecutive rounds thus far on CT side, which is a huge, huge blow to them. And one of the reasons they find themselves at 7-3 deficit.
Oh, I mean, they look like a different team now in the last couple rounds. No one has won the half numerically yet, although Recursive could be quite happy with the 7 that they've already got. But if CPLAY is able to get these next 5, take that momentum into the second half, it could be big for them. Momentum very important in this game. And Zanzier on top of the ticket booth will take down Ultra as he was trying to open up that connector. And it's going to be up to Sif and Spitty. Now just Sif as Barry will go for some easy picking out the window.
And interesting enough as well, even though CPLAY are 4-7 behind now, Zanzier is top fragging with 14 and 5. This guy has been on form with some beautiful AWP shots and definitely keeping the CTs in contention. It is going to be an eco save round now for Recursive. Going to get some armor on the board with a few grenades as well, because they can afford to buy up AK-47s next, whatever happens in this round. So it's going to be important that CTs can hold fast. They've got double AWP set up, Zanzier and Percy. Let's see where they run into. Zanzier's going to go into mid. And meanwhile, Percy goes to B. So neither of the players, with the AWPs going to A, which looks to be the site that the Ts are about to push.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zanzier, his stats being quite good right now in this game, and I was looking at the statistics for this team, CPLAY, throughout the history of Season 7, and Holst is their other big player, and he's actually way down there at the bottom at just 3 and 8. So maybe he just hasn't been seeing too much action. Like we said, all the buying was kind of weird early on for CPLAY. I know Holst was one of the players with the 5-7 a couple times, but if he could start to kick it in here late in this first half, and they easily get through that eco round. They don't even drop a player. So that's big for that CT economy. They should be good to have rifles almost for the rest of the half, even if they lose.
Yeah, they're in a good position now. They have steadied the ship. They have managed to salvage something from this, but they have to keep going forward. Momentum is key. And this is what we've seen Zanzier do before. And that's push through mid very aggressively with the AWP. That's first pick off on Spitty. That's going to open up B nicely. They're going to try and fill in the blanks here and just rush it in. That's exactly what's happening. Very, very quickly rotating through the kitchen and gets himself one. Meanwhile, it's Neto trying to get the back attack on towards Holst, who is one of those players that you highlighted that hasn't necessarily been performing too great so far. The bomb's been planted meanwhile, and Recursive in familiar territory just trying to spend off this retake.
Yeah, it's going to be up to Barry. He got that initial kill, but took a lot of damage for it. He's lurked on there within that smoke in the B site by Spitty, who also found the entry here, and is going to get another one onto Zanzier. So Holst that last man, and he's slow to rotate, but it's not really his fault. We saw that Neto was, keeping him tagged there in jungle, and you always have to worry about that guy behind you. And look at it, in the end, it's the guy that was behind him, Neto, that finally comes in for the kill. So good round there by Recursive, and basically Spitty to be highlighted on that one.
Yeah, and it would have kept them in 2 minds because he was spraying across to Holst from Palace. They knew that he was behind them that whole time, but they couldn't afford to make sure that they flushed that aggressor away before going in for the retakes. They were really caught in 2 minds. Do we stay? Do we go? What do we do? And it ended up backfiring regardless. Recursive with a nice old 8-5 up. And once again, surprise, surprise, looking to be pushing that bomb on towards B. Although they do have 2 players with Neto and Fours who are going to try and run interference on the A site, one of which is going to get the frag onto Holst, whose woes continue. And that's going to probably draw over Zanzier with the AWP towards A to try and help out Berry. And in doing so, that's going to leave B very, very exposed. In fact, maybe not, because the Ts are quickly rotating.
Yeah, they were actually they just went over there to make some noise, throw some flashes, and already they were rotating before that initial pick onto Holst even happened. So it seemed like a quick, let's throw some fakes, make some noise at B. But still, that rotation is so long that now, Zanzier is here. He's not moved. You didn't throw those set smokes. They were trying to use silence as their weapon instead of the set play with the smokes. It doesn't work out, though. Zanzier now going to hop up in the box and get 2. Mefeb pushes through the smoke at jungle. Is traded out, but that leaves it 3-on-2 in favor of CPLAY. And actually very completely blinded. Brought down through the porch by Sif. Nice awareness for him. Zanzier, though, still alive. It has been a problem. Finally, that smoke coming in. Keep him at bay, and fire onto the fire box from Percy, but he's going to go down, and now it's just up to Zanzier. And let's check out their money. He might want to save this for the last round potential.
Yeah, he very well. I think he's looking for some exits right now. If he can get a quick pick now, in the next couple seconds, he may think about going for this one fully. There it is, and he's going to be going for this defuse. No, actually, he's going to be baiting this one out, trying to draw Ultra out of position, jumping back onto that site once again, fakes it, does get taken down, and that's an AWP they could have definitely used going forward into this last round. But I can understand their thought process, Helium. We want to get as many rounds as possible on CT side. However, that risk play definitely doesn't pay off, because now they're going to be in a force buy with pistols and maybe a couple FAMASs thrown in as well. Far from ideal.
Recursive, though, did almost actually screw it up there at the end with that one player that was on the sight box peeking out by himself and not in a position where they could take the battle 2-on-1. It ended up isolating the 1v1s, but still the player in sandwich, not making noise, not peeking. I mean, Zanzer had no idea where he was, and when he did peek, it was a little wide. Looked like I was on the terrace perspective, but it looked as though he was checking A-ramp or Tetris and did get caught off guard. But good attempt from Zanzier. He's obviously been locking it down. 17 kills, most in the server and on the losing team. I always find that to be an impressive stat. Maybe one that doesn't truly matter because you're not getting the rounds, but still.
Yeah, but it shows that this guy, you know, if they do start to turn things around here, can definitely be an influential part of them getting back into this game. That being said, though, final round of the half. And it's going to be a quick push through apps. Completely catches Percy off guard. And the CT's actually pushed 2 to try and get around the back. And this is beautiful, I've got to say. For Recursive, who played this B apps very slowly, the CT's preemptively calling it, and they've been punished here. The bomb's been planted. 5v2, just 2 pistols on the board for CPLAY. Holst gets one in retaliation, but that's all he's going to get from this round. Buried through an apps. They're going to call that one out. And as soon as he comes round, he is a dead man. There's no chance he can clutch this, surely.
I was wondering how long it was going to be until CPLAY tried to do something like that. Just push up real quick through the underpass. Although, it can be risky because it's not like you have an amazing angle as a CT trying to come up those stairs into B halls. Terrorists can be waiting on the ledge, one peeking down the stairs, and you can't aim at all of them, especially when a vertical situation like that. It's pretty advantageous to the Ts, but they get there, just not quite in time, and also that last round was pretty forceful, just pistols and armor on most of the CTs. Probably why they went for it in the first place. I
think Recursive definitely called that one as well. You know, it's smart. It's just experience and it's smart calling from whoever's their in-game leader. That guys, they're probably on like a force buy with a couple pistols. If we're going to rush in, now's the time to do it and completely catch them off guard. And hey, it worked for them. They got the bomb down. They got a very comfortable round in the end, and they find themselves in a 10-5 scoreline now on CT side. So CPLAY, they've got to win this pistol round. They've got to start showing up, otherwise this match is going to be done.
Yeah, I mean, 10 gives you still a bit of leeway, even if you lose the first 3 rounds of the half, as you normally do if you drop the pistol. It's not, you know, 13 obviously is where it gets miserable because you lose if you get those 3, if you don't find those 3 rounds. 12 is not great. 11 is like, yeah, there's a bit of hope. 10, a little more hopeful. And then 9-6, you're like, we've done well. Conditions change quick on those half scores. But here we go into the pistol round. CPLAY obviously looking to give it their all. Will they take it fast? Will they take it slow? Will they do the same thing? 3 underpass and 2 pushing A from the other side? We'll find out.
It's going to be an interesting one. Let's see where they shape up from the start. It seems like Mafab wants to be going towards B by himself, play that lurker role, while the rest of his team rushing towards A. Are they going to stop? They do have a couple of smokes at their disposal, so I'd expect to see a set piece and then a fast push afterwards. Percy through Palace by his lonesome, and then the rest of his team, barring Mafab, throwing over those smokes. So it looks like it is going to be an A push right now, Helium. And as it stands, Ultra is going to be their last line of defense alongside Neto, who's actually pulled himself all the way back to CT spawn. Guessing that rush was going to come in, the bomb's gone down.
Mafab is almost lurking too
he took
hard.
his finger off it.
Oh, he gets taken out!
He had the bomb planted and he took his finger off it with 1 second to go. That could be huge for this round.
That could be the round. Holtz down, didn't get the bomb planted, and now you can see in his last will and testament was to throw the bomb towards connector. Sometimes those bomb physics can be aggravating, but look at Spitty coming in, just surgically removing some heads, and Neto to find Percy. And Mafab did actually get the 1 kill, so I don't know. Mafab was almost lurking too hard for me. He was way back there watching the B apartments exit that goes to T spawn. You know, wasn't even worried about that mid control getting pushed from the other side or having his team get stabbed from catwalk or connector. But clearly the glaring issue is the bomb not going down.
Yeah, that was huge. That was absolutely huge. I believe it was Holst who had the bomb planted pretty much in the smoke, took his finger off it last second. I don't know if that was just a mistake or if his team called for him to pull back. And then as soon as that bomb got dropped, as you said, Helium, it was wide in the open, and they had to pretty much rush players in just to pick the bomb up to throw it back in a safe position, and that cost them an extra 2 players, and from there on, that was game, set, and match for the 16th round. So we jump into the 17th now. Recursive with a full mix of weapons, MP7, P90 for masses, and again, looks like CPLAY like going for these force buys themselves. They've got a Scout and Tech 9s with a P250, and looks like they're going to be lurking on A once again.
Yeah, well, I mean, no reason not to do it on the T side if you don't plant the bomb in the first. Your rifle round's going to be coming in round 4 of the second half, regardless at that point. I guess if you feel confident that you can just, buy a smoke and keep Glocks to get the bomb down in the second round, then you can still get your rifle round in the third. But, with CSGO as it is, always a good shot with the force buys. But again, they actually did get the bomb down this time.
He planted.
Barely.
He planted in the smoke between 2 people shooting at him. I have no idea. That's like Houdini level stuff right there. That they got that bomb planted. They lose the round, but...
They probably didn't even know. They were probably trying to shoot each other. Like, I see tracers shooting at themselves.
Sneaky. They did lose all the weapons, though. So, yeah, you got a bomb plant, but they killed nobody, and now they're back onto an eco again. So, still not fantastic from CPLAY.
Yeah, I feel like the argument for buying there is like, you probably could have just bought 2 smokes and got the bomb down with Glocks, and then you would have rifles on this round.
Exactly.
That's the alternative, but obviously it is not uncommon for terrorists to just Tech 9 armor force up into that second round, as eating a nade there is Percy. And, well, still the rifles and these submachine guns most likely going to rip CPLAY apart this round, so should be Recursive taking the... I've been trying to find a term that really fits what the first 3 rounds are. I've been going with the free 3, but that's not really true because you still do have to work for that pistol, and as we know, surviving anti-ecos isn't incredibly easy in CSGO.
Yeah, I mean, before the SMGs got buffed and before the pistols got buffed, this is going back a long time, then yeah, I think the free 3 would definitely be an apt description, but we do see a lot of teams now with the force buys, with the likes of Scouts, these jumping headshots, and Tech 9s roaring in with 5.7s as well on the opposite side for CTs. You can cause upsets, there's no doubts about it, but all that aside, we do now have both teams with full weaponry. AK-47s for CPLAY. There's an AWP in play for Ultra, but they still have an MP7 and a P90, which could prove to be a bit of a negative for them. But a couple frags have been exchanged in Underpass, and that is Cypher and also Barry getting themselves on the board. 1-for-1 trade will favour the terrorists as long as they can make the most of this.
Yeah, well, Fours is... They were actually pushing the B apartments, or have decided to push since that kill. So there's the P90 finding the opening onto Barry, and they do have that man advantage. Fours has picked up an AK, so there's 1 submachine gun by the wayside. It will just be Spitty, who is still lurking around in these B halls looking for the backstab.
It's kind of surprising to me that the terrorists, I think it was Muffeb, got caught. No, it wasn't Muffeb, it was Barry who got caught in Underpass after getting a frag there earlier and didn't check behind him a single time. So Spitty literally just walked down the stairs, shot him in the back. And that early advantage I was talking about, whenever you trade 1-for-1, it leaves the CTs a lot more spread across the map, and the Ts can kind of concentrate their focus on one site and try and make the most of that. By losing that player, they're back to square one again. They've only got 30 seconds, they have the bomb, they have a few players on A, but you can see the CTs are very quickly moving into position. That's a nice frag from Zanzier, who's hoping for the second one. And the CTs are still in prime position. The bomb is going to be going towards CT spawn right now. They're looking for this frag, and they do get it. 2-on-2, and the bomb being planted.
Yeah, Bolst will get the bomb down, but only lives to hear... Doesn't even get to hear it beep. That sweet sound that all terrorists crave. Percy now the last one up, and that bomb gonna get smoked. He's gonna start spraying on it, and that was actually... I thought that was a pretty good mind game there from Forrest. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna drop this bomb. You think I'm defusing, but actually I'm just creeping up on you. It didn't quite work out, but in the end, Ultra gets it. We'll live with 5 HP. Costly round for Recursive, but we got to remember that they did start that round with 2 SMGs, so really not that costly because they were going to need to buy these rifles anyways.
Exactly, and they had so much money built up after winning the first 3 rounds on this half as well, so they were in good position. And 14-5 now, the currency that matters for CPLAY is rounds. If they are going to have any chance of getting this back in their favor, they're going to have to start getting momentum. They're going to have to be, by and large, almost flawless rounds, because the economy will start to grate at you and grind against you if you lose 3 or 4 weapons per round, even if you're winning at a deficit of 9 rounds. So they've got to start coming thick and fast right now.
Yeah. Also, at this point, if CPLAY drop this round, they're in a position where they are just playing to tie from a 10-round deficit, and that's always a tough situation to find yourself in. And actually, Losing this round will give CPLAY max round bonus, so they'll probably always be able to do it with some sort of rifles. But let's see if they can mount it here and still play for the win. Holst has made his way. This is such a position, a good position for the Terrorists to take that ladder room. Can really shut down the rotations if you're able to mount an offensive on the B site, or vice versa. But you got Neto in on your back line. He's taken down Zanzier. Has been such a big player, and this could get rough.
Neto pushing all the way around towards T-spawn and no one getting any information from CPLAY. Their T side is crumbling. They're losing players left, right, and center. Percy does claw one back, but still huge advantages for CTs. Holst is only down at 16 HP. They have one smoke, and that's it left on the side with 30 seconds to play with. And look at that on the map as well. They're completely spread out. The bomb is in no man's land, and they're going to have to take that bomb and just rush.
I don't even know if they have time to get to a site at this point. I'm about to do my little drawings here. From T-spawn, if they were to take it A, it's going to be 11 seconds. From where they grabbed it to A, it's 14. And, well, they're saving at this point. There's no chance.
Yeah. Almost like a lack of communication on their side, Helium. You know, from what I'm seeing, it's... I don't know if there's any cohesion here, or if players are kind of doing their own thing, if their heads are dropped because of the deficit they face. And now, as you called before, it's 10 rounds in a row or bust for CPLAY. And that's just to get back and even again. They cannot win from this position. So, and they've got a Tech 9. This is just bare bones stuff. This is very depressing to watch if you're a CPLAY fan, I'm sure.
2 smokes. One of them already gone early in the round. I can only assume that's a catwalk smoke coming out, and it is. And a couple flashes. One of those popping into mid, Molotov as well. So they've already used all their nades at the start of the round, more or less, to just grab that mid control, but then actually didn't go mid for any control. The CTs have it, and CPLAY is stuck here in these apartments. But B, kind of underdefended at the moment, at least not from a good angle. This will allow CPLAY to jump out and get into the site. Molotov going down, and Holst actually finds the opening onto Ultra, but it'll be forced from that market window to find the trade out there. So still 4-on-4, though. Recursive are playing retake.
They are playing retake, and it's Spitty who has managed to get through the smoke, gets one, but will get shut down instantly afterwards from the T's. They're going to go ahead and connect the dots onto another couple of plays, and there is the first tick in the box. And I've got to call something out as well from CPLAY. They threw purposeless flashes into mid. They didn't follow up with this, and they, as you called before, they had a very limited amount of utility with the flashes and the grenades that they had. They threw flashes, did nothing with it, and from that point I was thinking, okay, CPLAY have got a mountain to climb. Surely Recursive are just going to button down B, and they're going to make this as hard as possible to take. But a couple brilliant entry frags from CPLAY that we haven't really seen come out from them so far in this match do come in. My question, though, is it too little too late?
Yeah, actually, those, you know, just throwing those nades in mid kind of actually made Recursive bite pretty hard on it. They had 3 people over there, and the B rotations were coming as well. Made the B take a bit easier. So, I don't know. I guess I was maybe focusing on the negative aspect of those nades, just since CPLAY is down so far, instead of thinking that was actually a pretty decent fake, perhaps, in the end. And now Barry, actually with the mid control here, brings down Sif. So that'll bring it back to a 4-on-4, but 4 is going to go through Connector and find the trade at the end of the day. Man advantage, and now Recursive in a retake situation here onto the A site.
I like the shift in gear, though, from CPLAY. They're going really hyper-aggressive now at this point with the assault rifles as well. The problem is that Holst went in way too deep. He got picked off. It's a 4-on-2. And you can see that CPLAY's position's nowhere near good enough to fend off this defuse. All the push in. Percy gets one, looking for a second. Point blank range AWP shot from Ultra. And that's all she wrote. Recursive take it 16-6. I'm a bit surprised by that scoreline. I'm not going to lie, Helium. I thought that CPLAY would win that game.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, CPLAY's a name that I see a lot more often just in forums and playing against the tier 1 teams. I was a little more hopeful for Recursive when I saw that Spitty from the Lions eSports Club was going to be coming in for them, as I know that team is pretty solid, but that was quite a result for Recursive. They held CPLAY to less rounds than VP did.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. You know, that Recursive, I don't know if they just caught CPLAY on a bad day or if they'd really done their homework, but man, they look pretty damn confident on Mirage, I've got to say.
Indeed. And, well, might see Mirage again later on today, because we do still have, coming up in about 20 minutes, I think, at this point, the NIP versus Public Alert game. And might end up seeing Mirage in that series. That'll be again back to the Pro League rules, the best of 2 with the 4 bans and the 2 picks to get those maps underway. So that's what we've got coming up next. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the CPLAY versus Recursive game, so I'm definitely going to keep my eye on both of those teams because might be seeing them in the Pro League for the next season if they do finish high enough there in CEVO main. But yeah, of course, you're watching CEVO MLG Pro League. I'm Helium. With me is Metuz. I guess you're kind of the new blood here, but obviously been cast in CS probably longer than I have, so...
Yeah, new CEVO. I made my debut like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I think it was. But having a
got
blast.
quite a match for you on that
I got
day.
lucky. I'm not gonna lie, I got very lucky. Nip versus Titan, and Kenny S pulls off that ace. My goodness.
We'll see if Nip Gaming is charged up off of that, thinking they've got to get their highlight clip up there on YouTube. Maybe they'll pull it off against Public Lure. But we'll see that in just a little bit, guys. So stick around, and we'll be back.